It's where you belong. Give you strength to carry on. Open your heart, set your mind at ease. Live your life and you'll be free. We're gonna rise, rise, rise. Keep on rising, rise, rise, rise. Keep on rising,
Good evening, one and all, and welcome to the Wor Lasses Show. I am Lady Sam, joined by the fabulous Aran Embleton, my wonderful co-host this evening. And I first of all want to say a huge thank you to our repeat viewers. Really genuinely grateful for the support and helping us build the show and build the following. And a big thank you to any newbies who are joining us tonight as well. I think we said it when we first started doing it. What we want to do here is help raise the profile of the lasses and women's football, bring you news, our opinions, share yours too, and obviously have a laugh, because that's what we're all about on this channel. So please spread the word if you possibly can. Always get in there. Please like nice and early. It helps us in the search results. We also love seeing your comments to us, seeing your comments to one another as well. Your super chats are guaranteed to be read out, and smash that subscribe button and hit the bell for your notifications for all of your TTR content, including the men's. Good evening, Aran. How are you doing?
I'm all good. I want to knock the shapes out with the start tune. I love it.
That's class, isn't it?
Literally, I was ready. Yeah. All good. Busy. As usual, loads of one-to-ones, drop-in sessions around the northeast. So anyone looking still for one-to-ones, please give us a shout out and contact us on Instagram or Facebook, as the spots are filling very fast. But yeah, and also I'm just trying to still inspire the kids in the northeast and giving them something to kind of look up to, So all
Love
good.
that. And you're the perfect person for it as well. Who's better qualified than ex-England, eh? No one.
I try.
You do. You ace it, man. You ace it. Right. Okay, then. Want to try something a little bit different for you tonight as well. We're going to kick off the show before we get into tonight's chat about Newcastle United Women versus Charlton. We want to kick about a few opinions on that, obviously, and share your thoughts as well. But before we get into it, we want to do a bit of a, what would you say, Aaron, a general lasses women's football news update.
Yeah,
that's what we're going for. I'm sure we can come up with a better slogan for it, but for now, I think that's going to do quite nicely. So yes, and answers in the chat on a postcard, if you will, about what you would like us to call this section of the show. But hot off the press straight away, huge congratulations. Alicia Russo has been voted England Women Player of the Year 2023-2024, and that one, Aaron's actually voted by the fans as well. Yeah. So she's absolutely over the moon on Insta about that as well. So that's class, right?
Oh, amazing. Like, centre forward wise, she's got absolutely everything. Sam, like, heading ability, she can finish. I've seen her turn with the ball, first touch out of her feet. I've seen her finish without taking a touch, first time in the back of the net. From a youngster coming through, I've watched her progress with England, and honestly, like, so highly of her. Brilliant centre forward. Great, still loads of big future ahead of her, even though where she is now.
Yeah, ain't done.
But honestly, phenomenal player, and well deserved.
Yeah. I think it's fantastic news, and you're right. I think it's great validation that it comes from the fans as well. It's like that's pretty special. So yeah, huge congrats for that one. Some more Lionesses news. The under-17s grab a 4-2 win over Mexico in Group
Yay!
C.
Yeah,
Yes, that
love it.
pipeline
Yeah,
talent coming through, which is really, really great for women's football. That's in Group C of the FIFA World Cup. And I think they're down to the final 8 now. So well done, lasses. Great stuff on
brilliant.
that one. Yeah, I thought that was really, really positive as well,
It
because
is.
we've seen in the past the struggles with grassroots, and obviously your work actually helps with that, Aran, massively. And we're starting to see the investment coming through in the young lasses game now.
And like Sam, back in my day, back during the war,
Oh dear. It
they
was
had done.
100 years
Yes,
ago.
so yeah, one of them. There was only like there was a senior team, and they started an under-18s team. Now that the FA's ploughed all the money in, and from grassroots upwards, and now we've got the likes of the England under-21s and then 19s, and it goes on and on and on all the way down, and it's just great to see for the future, because these players progress through and they jump from age to age. And they move up the leagues with their current clubs. So, no, I love it, and I love to see like there's at that sort of age group, whether it's under 16s, 17s, 18s, all the way up, that we're competing and we're competing at the highest level for that age group, which is shown internationally. So,
Yeah,
love it.
for sure. Great platform, like absolutely amazing. So well done. We have a super chat in nice and early as well. Michael McIntyre, thank you so much, my friend. Loyal to the Wor Lasses channel as well. Hi Wor Lasses, keep it up. Toon. I'm going to start saying that when I ever get the opportunity to read a Michael McIntyre chat. Toon. He says it every time. I absolutely love it. Something else, Aran, that you can well imagine makes me quite happy. Recently come out in the world of women's football, particularly pertaining to the championship. The drinking trial in the stands. All the viewers, all the viewers in the chat, let me know what you think about this one. If you haven't seen it, let me set you some context. There is going to be a drinking alcohol in the stands trial that's happening. It is going to be tested in 2 of the women's championship clubs. I mean, Christmas would come early if I could have a Guinness in Kingston's Park. Absolutely. Do you know what? In all seriousness, I think testing it out on Geordies would be a really good benchmark. You're not
Like
gonna
100%. You might as well start at the top, mightn't you? Of the party capital.
Yeah, how badly could it possibly get? Try it in Newcastle.
Newcastle,
We'll
yeah.
get a really decent feel for how things are going. Mike Elliott, how you doing, mate? Thank you for your chat. Yes, grassroots football is so important for the future of women's players to live their dream playing the game they love.
100%.
Isn't that lovely? That was
It
very
is.
eloquently put as well. Love that. Yeah, so next bit of news as well. We've had some international call-ups. Our lovely magpies are actually turning to different animals right now. So huge congratulations to Joel. Called up for the Red Dragons there. So absolutely fantastic news. Really brilliant. She's doing class. I absolutely really enjoyed that performance at the weekend. But just to, as you know, Aran, representing for your country is absolutely fantastic. But she's not actually the only one. Oh, here she is.
Oh,
Here she
yeah.
is.
There's the Jamaican international hat-trick.
Oh,
Hat-trick at the weekend.
absolutely.
Stormer.
Yes.
Absolute stormer.
Unreal. Yeah, absolutely tremendous. So Shania Hills is going to be representing Jamaica, the reggae girls. I was about to do an impression there. I'm so pleased I didn't. I've been working with Paul for too long. I'm not going to try that. So yeah, congratulations to our very own magpies on your international call-ups. And you're showing your caliber for us as well. So thank you very much for that. We also have our birthday celebration. El Capitan, Stubbsy. Yesterday celebrating 32. Absolutely wonderful captain that we have in Amber Stubbs. So many happy returns to Amber. So yeah, all good on that front. Really, let us know what you think in the chat of that little new segment. We can keep on doing it, or we can absolutely can it. If you hate it, please let us know either way. I do want to do a quick injury update, Aran, as well, before we dive in to the match review itself. So we've got Furness out with an injury, a minor niggle apparently, which is very, very comforting to hear, because she's been doing fantastic so far this season, in my opinion. We've got an international break coming up as well, so like fingers crossed. I think she should be back for us when we face the Blues. Would you agree?
100%. I mean, I think it's like anything. I mean, I had to be honest with you, if I wasn't away internationally, I didn't like the international break because I just missed playing footy. But yeah, it gives I know it gives Becky like time, and it's like a recoup. Sometimes you need that. You need a bit of a break because there's just so many games rammed in throughout the season, and you see the injuries being picked up. So these people are injured, like Rachel Furness, obviously taking a bit of a knock, and they need that break because you need your players back and you need them fit. So any gaps help obviously for the team. Do you know what I mean? To get them back and get them back into training and stuff like that. Obviously with them, I think it's a small knock, so it's not anything major, but that break is sometimes needed. So
yeah, well, going on to the more serious injuries that we seem to be experiencing, Kelly, obviously, Cataldo not seen hiding a hair since the opening game of the season against the London Lionesses. So yeah, hopefully the break will do us some good, and we'll come back with a fully fit squad, which would be tremendous, and we probably need it. But we'll talk to that at the latter end of the show. Right. Let's get into it.
the hands are rubbing. All right. The nitty gritty.
The nitty gritty. Oh my goodness. Yes. Let's just dive straight in because it ain't all bad. It just ended terribly. However, fantastic crowding as ever. The Geordies representing. So 2,800, something like that. Again, just class attendances that we're getting representing as well. Paul Mitchell also in attendance. We've heard that him and Becky are close, so it's actually, I think it's good for the club, the fans, and Becky to actually see him there in person, not just hearing about he's been on the blower, just checking everything's okay. So I think that was really good for everybody to see as well. This was our home fixture. Ended in the 3-3 draw, and I will tell you, Aran, straight off the bat, and I need to say this, but these draws are start. Look at it, it's okay. You can say it. You're safe.
Yeah.
Straight off the bat, the draws when we are dominating or when we're ahead, they start to feel like losses for me, Aran. They're killing me.
Yeah,
They're
I know.
killing me.
I know. I mean, we're swarmed in as usual. Toon Army, hands up, like absolutely, like 3,000, like unreal. We've got the best supporters ever, and they travel obviously all the way down to away games. So hands up to all the guys out there. But the game, Sam, like started off really well, didn't it? And you know, Hales was on the end of everything going through. She really was strong. And it ended up came across the box, and it was a tap in for her. She wasn't going to miss that. And I thought, oh my God, like, possession, it was pretty much in between for both sides. I think it was slightly more to Charlton. I think they had 54% and us to around about 46. So it was neck and neck there or thereabouts. I feel again, when we mentioned this in one of the first games of the season, I can't remember which one, but the whole possession piece. And I think again they did that. They were losing the ball a bit too much, giving it away in the middle. But overall, at that point, we were, dominating, like we were doing really well. you know, we were creating chances, put it that way, and it was looking positive. And then obviously the second goal went in, and again, Hales, I think it was a flick on and a pass through from Stobbs through in the middle, split the defence, and yeah, 1-on-1 with the keeper virtually, and she side footed that one in. And at that point, we're all flying, weren't we? 2-0. We thought the book's closed and game over, but
Oh,
as
I thought we came out the traps roaring, ready to go.
literally,
I did think they played with, intensity and press. Remembering they're very, very familiar with this league, with the standard as well. We talked to it in our first show that we did when we did our sort of review of who we were going to be up with. So viewers, go and check it out if you haven't seen that one already. But they were always going to be tough competition. So it was going to be an interesting one. And, the first corner, I felt like we flooded the box, especially at the far post as well, which was great to see. We saw some excellent timing from Morning, some of the saves in that first half as well. Although very occasionally I felt like we were maybe lacking something in defence in the box.
yeah.
But I think for me, Andrews really shone in that first half. So how did you find our play? Because I'm going to admit I was a little on the fence initially when I saw Andrew in the first couple of games. But I
I'm
tell
like
you
you.
what, when I watched that, I was like, wow,
Yeah.
we found this gruesome twosome that is coming up at Halloween. Hello, this fabulous little twosome in Andrews and Hales. It was just absolutely
Was.
magic. Oh, it was class. And it could have been, we could have been 2 up within 16 minutes, in my opinion, Aaron.
Yeah, the speed of Andrews, like she's so quick. She was on the ball, playing it through to Hales, and you could see the connections happening. And remember, I've mentioned it before, where it takes centre forwards when everything's new and you've got a new forward up front with you. You've got to learn, you know, when you say Stobbs has got the ball at her feet, when to make the run, especially for Andrews, because she's got a lot of pace. Hales when to come to the ball. You look at each other, you kind of code wording each other to do a switch, so you switch play. That all takes time to happen, and I think I've seen in this game it was happening. For the first time, I could see the harmony between both of them, and they're starting to read each other well of where the runs are and where to play the ball to each other. Because it's easy when you've got the ball at your feet, but you don't want to be shouting at players where you're like, when you first go into a brand new team, and I've done that numerous occasions, and you're shouting like you've got the ball, run. When now Stobbs, there's none of that. Stobbs had the ball at her feet and she just played the ball through. She knew exactly where Hales was going to be. So we're getting there. We've got at that point up front. Your forward two are now starting to read each other, and I thought they were absolutely brilliant. Again, like you, Andrews, I was a bit like, I've been on the fence as well, 100%. But I seen what she was made of, and I could see she was creating the chances, the run she was making. She was making a lot of space. So you've got to think, hello, Hales put 3 in the back of the net, one being obviously a pen, but like she was creating the spaces for her. She wouldn't have had the opportunities she did. So the runs off the ball, I don't know if anyone, when they were watching the game, actually seeing the runs that Andrews was making for Hales to be able to have that space to get the shots away. So yeah, overall fab. I thought she was really good.
I personally think it clicked. It absolutely clicked. That was the spark.
It was.
That's gonna carry some momentum this season as well for us. So it was really, really fantastic to see them working together. And I think you put it perfectly there. It just harmonized it. Now, what I have done is I brought up a comment below from Niall. Hey there, mate. I'm worried we seem to be conceding a lot from
That's from corner.
corners.
I agree.
I'd probably put a caveat on this because where I do agree with conceding a lot from corners, Charlton are renowned for actually hitting the goal
Mhm.
from corners as well, and getting those. That they're known for it. It was one of the sort of danger areas for us leading into this game, which I'm sure they would have worked on. But probably a good question for you, Aaron, is how do we almost do some re-engineering on what to do defensively
Yeah.
in corners? Because I think for me, for a layman fan, I'm
Mhm.
like seeing. So sometimes I can see it when we're sort of going on transition. That's when I
Mhm.
get a little bit concerned because we're trying to get like bodies in the box, and sometimes we don't have the pace, and that's just the look of the draw with it sometimes. But when
Mhm.
it's actually from a corner, I feel like we've got bodies there, we've got them correct positionally, but we are conceding from corners a lot.
Mhm.
What is that down to?
Um, well, a cor- with the corners, I've noticed, obviously, you can either have zonal marking, where you don't actually player mark that player and you just mark the zone you're in, or you go like man to man, woman to woman as such. And Newcastle go man to man as such. So for me, I don't feel like the marking was great in that game at all, Sam. Like they weren't picking up, players weren't keeping a hold of the players they were meant to, they weren't picking them up, and it happened from she span on the corner. When the corner came in, it was delivered into the danger area. She span and then stepped back and headed it in. And again, that's down to the person that's marking them. So if I'm marking a player, if I leave them for 2 seconds of a delivery into the box, that's I've got to take that as responsibility if the other player gets on the end of that and heads it in the net. Like I haven't done my job. I've got to be in front of them. I've got to be shielding the ball. I've got to be putting, a bit of muscle in there. Not that I have many, but
I was
um,
going to say, all right, Popeye, settle down.
you know, a bit of hustle and bustle in there. You've got to put your player off that you're marking, and I felt that she had far too much space for in the box, but like there was two in front of her, and she still managed to step back and head it in, and it wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough at all.
Yeah, this is true. And Chippers is asking a good question here, actually. All right, Chippers. Do you think like lack of experience at this
Yeah.
level? Well, yeah. Oh, I'll not even finish the comment, shall I not?
Sorry to laugh.
Yes, yes, it will.
Yeah, it will 100%. Like the at this level, as you know yourself, like I feel at the end of the game went into what 94 minutes before a sub was made. I think Cooper came on at that point. We needed to shut the shop up, as we're kind of saying in football, as a lot of you still heard earlier than that, about 80 minutes to have stopped. You know, you taking some forwards off, putting some defenders or midfielders in that are more defensive could have closed the game off and we could have held on to it. I think it was a little bit too late. Maybe the substitutes coming on at the end, which could have cost us because the red card, and not taking nothing away from Stobbs. She's a fantastic captain, but yeah, you can't. You can't at this level. You cannot kick the football away and a yellow card and not expect to get a red card. So a little bit silly, I would say, more than silly because it really cost with the game. But even at that point, if we had brought some subs on, more defensive, a bit of backing, then we might have just held on. But lack of experience, massive, yeah.
This is true. I think if we had the opportunity to Uno reverse that red card, we
Oh,
absolutely. It's like a
especially
moment
of
of.
all the people, Sam, like
I
stops, like
know.
she's amazing, like
I know,
she's
Aaron. It's
fantastic.
okay. I feel it
I'm
too.
passionate
We're all
about this,
right.
man, because she's a lush lass, man.
Oh, and like before our birthday as well. Oh,
I know, and do you know what
just a
it is?
killer.
She's a sort of person will have went home and all week, like she'll not let that go all season. Like it'll
Yeah.
bother her. That's why I shouldn't have reacted. And you do in a game, you get, something happens in a game, you want to react, you're foaming. Do you know what I mean? The aggression comes out, but you've got to control it. And I think it should just, yeah, it was one of them. And she'll learn from it. She'll learn from it.
Well, she is our El Capitan. I have got
Yes.
no doubts that, you know, she's absolutely the right person. I don't think anybody's questioning that at all. You know, when you see on, you know, socials and stuff like that, when, you know, I think there was a lot of questionable things, comments that were coming up on socials, which we'll get into when we start getting into the second half discussion. But you're right, it was just a moment of madness. To be honest, Aaron, I felt like it was a pretty frustrating game for the lasses. Not just because of the rate of play. Charlton, we have to give credit to them. They give us a game. They give us a really tough match, and the scoreline being where it was, I was like, get us. We are looking tremendous, but they're giving us a run for our money. Really exciting match. They were bringing the intensity that, you know, I think initially they didn't know what to do with us. And was there like a bit of a change in the formation, like knocking them off a little bit, with, like, you know, having the two up front as well, and that played to our favour, and then just to see it just drift into the horizon and wind was just dreadful.
And
But
it's hard. I mean, formation wise, we stayed with what we've been playing with a 4-4-2 again. We're still very early on in the season, and we played a different formation last season, a 3-4-3. So we're getting used to it. But yeah, it was neck and neck throughout. I thought, you know, from Charlton, they totally brought it to us. Like, they were top of the league. To them, we were the underdogs. I
yeah,
think we give them a bit of I think maybe did they come with a bit of too much confidence, and we just caught them. We were not taking anything away from us, because we played exceptional and we had that blistering start. But yeah, we caught them off guard, and it just goes to show, Sam, that, you know, this league, obviously, it's very competitive and there's not a lot in it, right? There's only 5 points between where we are now and Birmingham at the top. So it's very,
yeah,
very short. It goes to show there's not that much of a gap. So if we can go out and play against Charlton, that's been pretty much, you know, they've been beating everyone, literally. We come out, we'll go 2-0 up. Yes, the score was 3-3 in the end, but there was a lot of things that contributed to that end score.
yeah.
It probably, if we didn't have someone sent off, blah blah blah, we could have went on to win it. But it tells me a big thing there. We're competing. Do you know what I mean? Like, as a team, like, they were top of the league, and we can go toe to toe with them, if not beat them.
Yeah,
So I'm now
there's
starting to see a bit of level there. Do you know what I mean?
You're absolutely right, and I think the fact that we're bringing it, and I just brought that comment up there as well, just to say we don't look out of place. I think I said it on the last show as well. Like, we don't look like we're sort of
Not
bottom
at
of the
all.
table now,
No.
massively struggling. Like, we don't at all. But I tell you what, we do have a super chat through all the way from Australia. Hi there, Michael.
Hi.
Wishing you beautiful ladies a wonderful day. It's 5 a.m. here.
Aw.
Well, thank you for your commitment. Love that. So yeah, Aaron, it was a difficult watch, I think. I think the first half, there was obviously some stars of the show for me. Potsy, oh my goodness. I mean, I struggle to like find anything that I don't love about Potsy. I
Potsy.
just think
Yeah.
picking everybody up, like the wall at the back, just absolutely
Cheers.
fan blummentastic. You know, we're getting the assists in there as well, which is great.
Yeah.
And I think we showed that it was a really positive start, despite them bringing the game to us.
Yeah.
You know, we saw the great combo between Hales and Andrews in that first half as well. We had them rattled because they ended up getting that yellow card. Barton, I think it was, yeah, for Charlton. So we were getting under the skin, and they were, if anybody saw it, I mean, giving us big licks, and we just
Yeah.
weren't having any of it. But I tell you what, I particularly noticed, like, Lumsden, bless her, a target the entire game. I
Yeah.
think I saw her more on her arse than on her feet, and I mean, it's It's no disrespect to her there, because they were so physical, and I thought particularly targeting her because of what she ended up delivering again in the
Massive.
Sunderland derby.
Yeah, 100. Yeah. So I mean, the likes of Hales, she's top goal scorer in the league so far. So yeah, absolutely outstanding. Lumsden, I think she's about 7th top goal scorer. So that'll tell you that we've got two players in the top 10. They're going to be massive targets. Teams do the homework. We're at that level now. They've got staff that are getting paid very good salaries to sit there and come up with corners, so they know exactly set piece plays. They've got people then looking at who the target players are, how they're playing, how to stop them, and go back to the players before the game on the Sunday to kind of give them the homework and what to be careful of. And I think those two players, and you're obviously Lumsden being, you're saying she was on her bum more than and then running around, and she was, to be fair, she was down all the time, but that's because they now see her as a massive threat. And when you've got someone like that, where 2 goals, against Sunderland, thinking, yeah, you've got a tricky left winger here, and she's going to cause a lot of problems, they've straight away thought, let's give her a good couple of knocks and kind of intimidate her, really. That's what they do to put you off, So, yeah, we're going to have a lot of that, and we need to be robust, and we need to be and keep composure, because again, it's easy to react if you're a target in a game when you keep getting fouled, really, because you're getting pushed in the back and the referee doesn't see it, and it's easy for you after the 3rd or 4th attempt where you flip and you go, ref, and you can, so you've got to keep composed, even though you might be getting a cheeky dig here and there.
Cheeky, my
Yeah,
goodness.
cheeky dig here and there.
Absolutely not. I was like, want to run onto the pitch and said, "Hey, leave that be. It's getting ridiculous now." Honestly, it was really tough to watch at times, especially when we weren't seeing a lot of ref decisions being made where I probably thought they should be. So but we held out. We got 5 minutes of extra time in the first half there. They did not let up, though. They kept pressing, and bearing in mind, I think that they had an offside goal as well. But they just didn't stop. They definitely grew into the game. And then second half, the sun comes out after a blustery, horrible day. Charlton made, I think, one change. Was it Ellie Brazil? Ellie Brazil came on at half time. And I think we almost like had a couple of early chances. Like Lumsden was strong in defence, I thought. And Stubbs just seemed to be looking for Hales constantly, and I think they just got wise to it. You actually saw them having like team chats at the side after that the first and the second goal went in as well. And she just started to get so heavily marked, didn't she?
Yeah, massively. Yeah, I've seen them really push on. Again, that wasn't up until the Stubbs scenario. Like, it was still pretty much neck and neck. Obviously Katie Bradley got that header in, lack of unmarking, which we know we've spoke about.
Yeah.
But it was still very much neck and neck. And then obviously the penalty situation. But to be honest with you, Sam, like, the penalty for me, it was a soft penalty. Like, I'm all for getting pens. Like, I'm not going to say no to them if it's going to put one further ahead. But
Okay,
like,
go on then.
it was a bit of a, she turned and she did follow through. The player did follow through and kind of took her with her. But it wasn't. It to me, it was soft. It was soft. And I was quite surprised it was given, to be honest. But I'll take the penalty all day long for that.
Absolutely.
And then it
Yeah.
all from that part. That's when it deteriorated fast.
Yeah, should we just end the show here?
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us today, everybody. Yeah, we're just gonna end right now on that high. But yeah, I think you're right. I think we were gifted a pen. We obviously got the yellow card as well, the first one from Stubbs. So like I think that was probably granted in terms of the yellow card, taking out the Charlton player. Like I totally get that one. I mean, Hale's got a kick to the face, and Lumsden luckily got a free kick off the back of it. So a couple of decent decisions, but it was like there was a lot missing for me in that one. I felt almost discombobulated, Aran. I felt like we were in control and then completely lost it.
And then,
Completely lost it.
we
Like
did.
how can that happen when we're looking strong? We were looking really good. We just started to lose it in the midfield for me.
It it did. We fell to pieces, and I think when you're down to 10 players, and something like that happens, you've then got to regroup, and you've got to get players behind the ball, and that's all you can do because you're going to be under a lot of pressure. That extra player is a big difference when you're on a field. Like, you've got more areas to cover, to close them down, things like that. So you've got to change formation quite fast and group together and make it a lot more tighter in midfield. And I don't think we did that. The midfield was still pretty spread. We needed to be close together, stop the gaps going in between. And I think Charlton played to their strengths immediately, going, yeah, we've got loads of space here. And they started to do that. And they were playing in between the gaps, out wide. They were catching her. And again, like, it doesn't matter what fit. You can say, what was it, fitness? Was it this? Like, when you're down to 10, you're down to 10. And you're up against it. It's just holding on. How long can you hold on for?
I feel like they capitalized on that.
They
Like,
did.
they're experienced enough to know when there was that moment of weakness and
Yeah.
just went for the jugular. So yeah, it was pretty disappointing to see. But I thought that the pen was just really excellently taken to get Hale's first hat trick for the club, which was amazing. The
Yeah.
crowd support for her when she got it as well, like, it meant so much to the fans that were there, and as ever we're always supporting the lasses, even when we're going behind. The fans are there. The crowd went wild for it, which was great.
It was a
It was
fantastic finish, bottom
yeah.
corner. She didn't. When you're running up for a pen, you kind of change your mind in your head because psychologically, like, then you just make a total mess of it. Like, she was dead, calm, composed, and she just slotted it away, and it was a great finish. Keep had no chance.
Yeah, and do you know what? I think after we scored the pen though, Aaron, like, I feel like galvanized us a little bit. We looked a little bit more lively. I don't know what I'm doing here, like Mickey
Yeah.
dance. But we did look a lot more lively with what we were doing, and then it
Yeah.
just sort of like it was like a quick gradual fall off again, unfortunately. So, I'll be quite mindful of that watching in other games about how we're actually going to control that
Mhm.
moving forward. I think it's going to be quite an interesting one because, I mean, you could probably answer this better than anybody, but in terms of getting players to keep their focus, getting us to keep our heads when our players are getting took out. They're looking really strong defensively and in attack as well. There's fouls all over the shop. How will Becky be looking to get the girls on a sort of level head and keep that concentration?
Yeah, again, it's communication on the pitch, and your manager at the side of the pitch does all they do all they can to guide the team, and they'll shout and they'll say, right, switch formations, or the wingers will be told to switch and you'll switch, but ultimately the people on the pitch, the likes of Stobbsy and your captains, and Potsy's very verbal at the back, she's always the one that leads. Um, you need them people to come be accountable for, and they were. I'm not saying they weren't. Potsy always is, but I think players around them, the communication wasn't there. Therefore, it it fell to pieces. The confidence went. There was a
It
That's
did.
what it was, a lack of confidence. I don't know what happened because they were absolutely flying. They were, you
Quality
know,
performance.
yeah, absolutely amazing, and it just
Yeah.
literally it all fell to pieces.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's I'm still crying at my cornflakes, really.
Well, we've got a question from Wacky Angler. Hello there. Aran, is that an England cap behind you? Show everyone what it says on it. I've tried a couple on myself. Interesting. Have you earned them, Wacky? Have you earned them? That is the question. Aran has.
Let's have a
Let's
look.
see. Give us a look. Give us a look. Look at that. Get in. That's our lass. Away. Love it. Love it. So yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And then we started to see, and this is where the controversial social media comments come in.
Mm.
People calling the subs questionable. We had Lumsden go off for Elson for Casey. I think it was Casey's first start in the championship actually, so absolutely mint on that one. So that was a straight play swap. Which was fine. Haywood for Hales, you know, what was the sort of mindset? Is this sort of sitting back that, you know, defend us now?
Well, I think at that point you've got to, as a manager, you've got to again try and shut. I can't remember what.
Come on, put your
Shut
teeth
the
in.
exactly shut the
Nana.
shop in. And you need defensive players on, and you need them on fast. So you have to sacrifice some of your forward players if you're winning 3-1. And not any manager would do the same. You start to look at your forwards and bring your forwards off and put a strong defensive player, whether that's in midfield or you bring another defender in and go 5 at the back. But you've got to do something fast because you're obviously going, you know, you're down to 10 players. So no, I agree with them substitutions. You know, I probably would have personally, and I'm not a manager, but I would have maybe brought more defenders on. To again try and hold out the best you can, but there's not a lot you can do. You've got to just stand tall and you've got to be warriors at that point, and you've got to battle on to try and hold on.
Well, do you agree with the timing of the subs?
I mean, Cooper came on in 92, and for me that was a bit late. Like it would have been, I would have brought Cooper on a lot earlier than that. When everything happened with Stobbs immediately, that I would have wanted subs warmed up immediately. Then I would have had them on within minutes, but Becky Ella had a method behind the madness. She's the manager and she's been very successful for 2 seasons running. So who am I to
Certainly.
kind of say that what she's doing is wrong? But yeah, I would have probably been more defensive, faster to try and hold on to that lead, to try and cut anything out because straight away, Charlton would have been looking for the wings immediately, which they did, looking
Yeah.
for gaps because there was a lot more. There's a lot more gaps at that point. That your midfield kind of running around, and you're all like you're a bit lost. You know what I mean? You're a person down, so you've got more ground to cover, and it is a lot harder, and you're tiring very fast. So you've got to look to your defensive players to kick in massively at that point if you go down to 10 players.
Yeah. And I don't think it can't be lost on anybody. So we made the 2 changes. We had like 10, 15 left to
Yeah.
play. I think we looked really good at that point. Then Charlton made the change. Brought Princess on. I can't remember her last name, I'm afraid. But she like absolute giant of a player. Like I was intimidated by her. And that's the point where Stobbs got the second yellow. Just we're not going to dive into it. She's our captain. We support her. Just frustrating times. You
Of
know,
course.
not
She's got a
great.
lot of experience, and at that point, you know, of course, it'll be really bothering her because, like, I've spoke to Amber on numerous occasions, and I kind of pick up the person she is, and
Yeah.
she'll have took that very badly, and she'll know next time not to react and kick the ball away because it was a very silly thing to do, but ultimately, in the heat of the moment, and when you know you're getting pushed, kicked, whatever, you know what I mean? And you want to slow the play down. Really, our experience was to our detriment, really, because what she was doing was she was obviously wanting to stand in front of the ball and slow the play down when she kicked it away. But ultimately now it's a yellow card, and then that was it.
Yeah, and I think we need to be mindful that these things do get consequences added to them now. We've got
Yeah.
to be absolutely on that. But we've got a nice comment here, Aaron from Seaside Tooney. Sam and Aaron love the show. Aaron, I watched you play for North Shields Women many years ago. Up the Robins, my grassroots team.
Boop, boop, boop. Yep,
Yeah.
did. I
Love
played
that.
for the local teams after coming back from the now known as the WSL with the Doncaster Bells at the time. So I came back and I played for Whitley Bay and I played for North Shields. So yeah, it was great. It was all good.
Superstar, man. So at this point, we are now reduced to 10 players. There's seven 7 minutes of normal time left
Yeah.
to play.
Mhm.
We hang on, we get to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I think Barker's on by this time doing our thing. We're still
Yeah.
attacking, but they are still looking threatening at the same time. And then the ball's getting given away. I feel for me it was almost like we need to slow down, but I think Elson was given a good performance, which was great. And you picked on something that I picked up as well. Charlton actually started to use the wings in those dying minutes of the game. So bearing in mind we are nearly 90 minutes. I think like it was like 88, lucky number, 88 minutes. We're still 3-1 at this point. Extra time goes up, which is like 5 minutes.
Mhm.
That's the point where Cooper comes on, the defensive change was made, and then 91 minutes, like it goes to 2-3. Just you almost couldn't believe it. And
No.
then Brazil scores the second one. So that's when that set piece corner came in, a really
Mhm.
clean header on it. Stokes was on the near bar. We had 5 bodies in the box, and I think it was Sibley whose marking fell short on
Yeah.
that one. Please correct us if I'm wrong. But
Mhm.
was that your interpretation as well, Aaron?
Yeah. And I think it was a second goal. Correct us if I'm wrong here. Anyone that's in the chat. There was a quick throw in, and I noticed straight away,
Yeah.
and it turned their backs, didn't it? It was a quick throw in. They were caught off guard. They weren't kept switched on. I think they thought at that point, we just got to hold out. We'll win. But heads was clearly panicking. And again, that split second of switching off cost us the goal because the throw in was taken very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It was to our feet. She turned with the ball and literally passed it inside. She just got a bit of space and finished. And if that, there was 3 Newcastle players standing around her, and they were all looking like they were just they weren't switched on. And before they knew it all, they were literally like, and she had the ball and yeah, chip assist straight away, and it was like yeah, it's something Becky will straight away. Like that would be like a major thing in the dressing room. It'll have been like we switched off. Like what happened? Like you just weren't aware to throw in. The first thing you do, especially at that point in the game, you're facing forward. You're watching what's going on with the play for short corners for anything that is out the ordinary. And at that point, none of all 3 of them didn't pick it up at that point. They just watched us
Yeah.
throw the ball. I think they turned their back, thinking it was going to be one of those. But it's
Let's
easy
get in
again. It's easy
position.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And I felt the same. And I think do you know what? I hate saying it, lessons learned. Oh, it sounds so snowflake.
Mhm.
But the way they
You're
actually
right though.
take the way they take their corners with such pace, where you actually catch your opponent off guard.
Mhm.
Absolutely, we should be taking something from them, because we tend to settle when we take them in the past. But obviously, they obviously were desperate for that, and they never give up. So all credit to them. Like they were really really fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. They're like I've got to give it to them. They went at the very end. You know, they always play to the referee's whistle, and they they continued. They were still searching for that third goal, and they got it in the end. And I felt so sorry for us. Really did, because of all that hard work and to get 3-1 up, and then in 5 minutes, this is what football's like. Football can be so cruel, and yeah, we lost it in the last 5 minutes of the game, but we'll learn from it. Like, the players all go away, they'll all analyse their own performance, which they do, and they'll not have been happy with what had happened, but they'll not let it happen again. It's one of them. You live and learn, and I think they learned heavily from that game.
I think we all did. Yeah, for sure. I think it was. It just felt like such a shame when they'd, played the socks off, and a couple of silly things happened here and there. Put it behind
Definitely.
us, learn from it. We saw in Becky's interview, which was posted on Newcastle United's app, that she sort of felt really frustrated, and showed our inexperience.
Mhm.
In moments saying that we were slightly naive, and talk
Yeah.
to gifting them, the goals, which I think is quite
Mhm.
accurate. So
Yeah.
what do you think we now need to do to develop? She's talking to inexperience.
Yeah.
What do we need to do at this point to sort of, I don't know, it's like rounding off the edges. We need
And it's
we need to
a
make
bit of
sure that we're polishing
composure.
performance. Yeah.
They're
Yes.
still quite a lot of them quite young. Obviously, don't get us wrong. You've got your experienced players, but you cannot expect all the time. Like, you need people around you to kind of be switched on as well. And experience comes with a lot of things. I mean, even from the likes of the corner to when the throw in, for example. Like, at that point in the game, when you're getting a 98 to 89 minutes, and it's going into stoppage time and you're winning, and it could be 3-2 at that point. As a player, the first thing you do is you slow the game down completely, which means
Hmm.
you've got to do things a little bit that you're not meant to. And that means standing in front of the ball. I used to do quite often when it was a free kick. I would go and stand, and the referee will be like, "Hey, move," and they'll take us back 10 yards. But I've slowed the game down, and I've not allowed them to take a quick free kick or a fast throw in, you
Oh,
know. But that's experience. That's these are little things that they'll be mentioning and training to them and saying, like, next time, like, we need to have slowed that down, made things a little bit more difficult. You can push the barrier with the referee to your advantage, and you can dictate the pace of the game at that point. But that's what she's meaning by experience, like that.
got
Things,
it.
those things
See,
could
see,
what
viewers,
were
like
3 points.
this is the kind of top tips that you can get when you send your kids to Aaron's football coach. I never knew that. I'm like, oh,
There's a fine line between getting booked, yeah,
yeah.
because you don't do it, you won't do it off the belt, because naturally the referee, that's football. Like, you'll see, we'll watch the WSL Women, you watch the Lionesses, you watch the Men's Premier League, and you always see when there's a free kick, a throw in, whatever, you've got a player stands over the ball with the opponent when they've spotted the ball down to kick it.
Love
Why
that.
do they do that? To slow the game down, for the referee to go, "What you're doing, get back." And then you move back, because you have to move back. But at that point, all of your team is then in position and ready and marked up, ready for the set piece coming into the box or whatever it may be. Because then you've just set your team up. You're giving your team time to be set up correctly, and we didn't do that.
Well, for me personally, I would have been bringing out the Monopoly board to slow the game down at that point, just to keep a hold of that lead. But never mind. We do have a chat through from Brett Miller. Now, you're right, Sam. No idea what I was right about, but who doesn't like to hear that they're right? So thank you for agreeing with me. Honestly, what my like. Anyway, so it is what it is, unfortunately. Really, really shame, because the lasses put the heart and soul into it. But
Yeah,
what we
yeah.
kind of want to do now is have a quick look at where we are in terms of the table. So this is where it stands at the moment. People, again, get in the chat if you've liked the graphics that we've used tonight. But this was taken as of today. We can see obviously Portsmouth like wow, their goal difference.
Yeah,
But Portsmouth were one
struggling.
of the teams who were promoted along with ourselves there.
Yeah.
Currently in fifth, Aran. How do you feel at this point of the season that we're in fifth with the performances that we've had?
Do you know what it is? I think we've done absolutely fantastic. We've
Yeah.
just been promoted. You can take the same as Portsmouth. They're at the bottom. They've just been promoted. They beat us in the cup final. Yeah, we've brought a lot of players in, a lot more experienced, great quality players. We're in fifth. Yes, we've given points away, and we analyse that. But overall, I mean, we're only about 5 points off the top. Yeah, like 4 points off top. Like it's a game, it's two
Doing
games.
all right with the game in hand as well, right?
Yeah, totally. Like a couple of games, and like we might
Get a
be
bit
falling off
feisty
our
over
seat.
there, Aran. Like, chill out, man. We see you,
And I,
man. We're in
and
fifth.
we could be sitting like nearly falling off our seat. We get a couple of wins.
Everybody
could be up
calm
there.
down, man. We're doing great.
I still think from the players we brought in, top four after Sunday's performance, of seeing how they did against Charlton and seeing that they playing together now. They're starting to read each other and know each other as players. I'm gonna take another stab in the dark, right? And I said top four, didn't I? I'm taking that to top three now because I think the standards of what I've seen, how we've been playing, I think we've got another gear to go yet, Sam. I think we've got another gear to go.
Can you imagine?
I know.
Yes, I'm loving that. I'm loving that. You know me, I think we're going to win it. I think we're going to get promoted. It's going to be fantastic.
Right, I'll just bring you down from that branch.
Oh, come on, don't. You know I like to live in my own little world.
Yeah, I know you do. I know you do. But I
Thank
don't want to
you.
be picking you up at the end of the season.
Ugh. Do you know what? I think already, like if this was it, like this was your shot, you've had it. I would be, I mean, proud of them anyway, but like so proud of what they've done, how they've performed.
Yeah.
This is like you've told us before. Like the standard is something so much harder to come by. And look at where Portsmouth is. So that'll just tell you everything that we need to know. Now, if you did catch the table, I'm not going to bring it up again because then you won't see mine and Aran's lovely faces. But our next match is against Birmingham City. It is away. Just as an FYI, that game time has changed. It was originally 2 p.m. An announcement came out, I think it was yesterday, to say that has been changed to 3 p.m. now on the 3rd of November. So just be mindful of that one. Birmingham City are top of the table at the minute. They've recruited really well, and that's our next fixture, Aran. So maybe the international break has actually come at a good time. So we've got some time to prepare, get some other players back who've been injured as well. So yeah, I think it might be good time for us.
Yeah. The likes of Furness, Cataldo. I've seen Cataldo recently. She did take a knock, but she'll not be longer coming back. Emma Kelly. So yeah, like we've still got the depth there, and some of them are injured. Birmingham, after what I've seen against Charlton, not a problem. We're gonna win.
Oh, big statement!
Telling
Big
you.
statement!
And you know
I
what
know.
I'm like? I'm a
Enjoy that. I
realist.
know.
I'm an absolute realist, and I'll always say to you, Sam, don't on here. I'm always like, no. Like, just
I know you
calm
bring
down.
me down.
Yeah, like, from what I've
Spoiling
seen,
everybody's
honestly,
buzz.
like, yeah, 100%, like, 2-1, 2-1, honestly. I've seen the strength. I've seen what they can do now. I've seen how they've played with it. That's what I've been waiting to see. I wanted to see us playing against the top of the league, really, between Birmingham and Charlton, and obviously Charlton's come first. Then that said it all for me, because then it set, and I knew where the bar was raised then, and I knew how they can perform against them and where the level of quality is. So, yeah, we're going to beat Birmingham, 100%.
Well, you heard it here first, people. So enjoy that one. Let's all watch it on mass. Also, just before we look to close the show, as ever, this is all about promoting the lasses. The tickets for the Southampton fixture at St James's Park are out now for general sales. So please get your tickets in there. Show the support at St James's as well, which will be absolutely fantastic. Thank you tonight to my lovely co-host Aran. So thank you for joining me, keeping me sane, and you talk way more sense than Paul ever does. So thank you for that tonight. Thank you to our wonderful mods who are keeping everything kosher in the chat. Really, really appreciate that one. There you go. Always again, give us your feedback because we're looking to improve, we're looking to tweak, we're looking to left a bit, right a bit, we're looking to get this right. So if there's anything that you want to see from us, please let us know in the future as well, and we will look to get that sorted. In the meantime, that's everything from me. Thank you so much for joining us, our viewers tonight as well. There you go, and spread the word about the Wor Lasses. Thank you very much, and away the lads and lasses.
Come back and check out some breeze.